Right, it's Dan on the Rock Show. I'm going to get this lovely fella to introduce himself.
Hey, I'm Alex, playing Northlane.
And we haven't caught up with you for a while, we've just realised. It's been
About a year, maybe 2 years.
Well, it's,
a year and a bit.
I consider it just being Node. You didn't have Node last time, you now have Node.
Yeah.
I'm a little bit obsessed. It's a fantastic album.
That's a positive, yeah.
You guys bring everything with it as well. I feel that Node goes from not just the sound, but all the way through to the live show.
Okay.
Because we watched you guys, I think, another time in Bristol, and you just crushed it there as well, and then everything's interlinked. Is that planned, or is it just...
I think it's just how we are as people. Like,
Nice.
you know, when we were writing Node, obviously, like, Adrian had left the band. We're like, let's get a singer. Let's get a new vocalist. And then we started writing. So we thought, with the big change, we might as well do the biggest change with our music, because we're not always like... We all listen to different music, you know. So we did a little bit of a CD that might not have been the same if we didn't find ourselves in the situation that we were, but the biggest change was done all at the one time. New vocalist, new frontman, and then new sound. So then with that we thought, this is like Northlane 2.0, and we realised that we had a second shot at maybe some bands have never have been in the situation that we were at and haven't pushed through.
Yeah.
So with that as a whole, we thought it's time to like really step up, and we're playing with all these like very professional bands, and I think us just as a whole and as individuals, we just kind of stepped to the plate.
I was going to say...
We had something to prove, you know, because everyone thought, oh, Adrian's gone, you know,
and
the band's going to break up, and it's like, well, it's...
You always get the new vocalist judgment as well.
Yeah, of course.
Every band has to go through it that changes the vocalist. It's like, has it killed the band? Whereas for me, I liked Northlane before, but it was kind of like if you don't mind saying, just a little bit of an impartial, like I would catch you guys and think it was great, but Node is the one which I just slam on with regularity and listen to, and like I say, I've got a certain mood I like to listen to it in, and I might be slightly, shall we say, higher than other moods. And but yeah, it's one of those. Did you ever expect the reaction from the scene that you got for it though? Because I think people just went absolutely batshit crazy for it.
We didn't really know what to expect, to be honest. You know, when you think about what's the nicest way to put it? We haven't really been a band for that long.
Yeah.
You know, we've been around for 6 or 7 years, and we did a lot of touring at home with Adrian, but internationally, like, we had only done 2 records. So
yeah, I suppose. Yeah.
When you think about that, it's very early in a band's career. So over in Europe and over in maybe America, they're still trying to catch on, but definitely over Europe and UK was very, very positive reaction straight away. At home, same thing, but then we did have a lot of those like dire fans that were there from our first show that were like, okay, I've seen this band for the last 6 years with this lineup, and it's taken them a little bit longer to kind of come around.
Okay.
But you know, like, not everyone was going to be stoked in the choice that we made.
That's
and
fair.
Like,
that's very fair.
We knew that you can't please everyone, but we wanted to pick someone for us that we felt comfortable with not only like his vocals but the way Mark's is as a person.
I was going to say the interaction. I mean, I always say that you can tell how well a band gets on by how the energy is on stage, and we've seen you twice with him now, and yeah, it's on point. I mean, you guys work well together. You're all clearly enjoying yourselves, and I don't think enough bands actually enjoy their own music enough in that sort of sense. Whereas with you guys, it's quite clear that you're loving every second that you're doing it.
I guess if you don't enjoy the music that you're playing, like, what's the point?
Yeah, no,
you know, that's probably something that's been said a lot in bands and everything. But really, when you think about it, if you're doing it just to tour or just to go, oh yeah, I play in a band, like, fair enough. But how are you gonna like portray that energy or like what you're trying to do as a group if you're not into it?
Yeah.
So, and that was the thing for us as well. Like, we knew that Adrian was slowly losing focus, and like, it just wasn't for him. Some people love touring, some people don't. And then that's why when we brought Marcus into the first couple of practices, already there was like very different change in like direction, in vibe, because we are back to square one where we have 5 people that want to be there.
Yeah.
You know, like, and that's not to say Adrian didn't want to be there, but his goals in life, like, weren't like, they stopped for the band, you know, like he's done what he wanted to do.
Yeah.
Didn't want to do anything further. So
It can kill a vibe, as you say. So.
of course, like when you go to work and your colleague next to you talks there and he's not enjoying his day, that bad vibe might spill over, and it's like any workplace. You might enjoy what you're doing, where you are, who you're working with, and sometimes like when someone else isn't enjoying it, everybody can feel that vibe, and it totally changes.
Maybe ask the people I work with, because I don't tend to. Work pays the rest of your life, So. So, are you guys writing for a next record now? Or are you still just enjoying sort of representing Node for the moment?
We're always pretty much writing. We're always like doing stuff, whether it's for Northlane, whether it's for other projects, or
Nice.
but as like an official, we've started writing. We just released like a split EP with some friends back home.
Nice.
So that's a new song there. That's something that we did with that, and it was like a big collaboration between us and our friends in Heart's Wake.
Nice.
But yeah, like album 4.
Album 4. Christ.
Fuck, album 4.
Yeah.
It's definitely underway. So no, we're not 100% sure with timeline. Unlike Node, we kind of like wanted to get it out a lot quicker.
Yeah.
And obviously this one now we're just kind of taking our time and really putting out,
letting it naturally develop as a thing.
And I guess it's gonna, like, it works in our favour now is because it's not a huge change. With Node, people were very surprised not only for singer but for sound. People are used to Marcus now, so we can experiment a little more with the instruments and do things that maybe were too crazy to do for Node or not crazy enough. Like who knows?
Excellent. Well, to be honest, I like the idea of something being sort of written naturally rather than forced. It's always going to, for me at least, be a better product. You guys got any plans for like the rest of the year? Apart from, you're in England at the moment with us.
I think we're just finishing off this festival run. So like the Impericons, and I think it's Never Say Die shows, 3 shows, Slam Dunk at the end of this month. All that thing. We go back home and we have like 3 days off, and then we do Australian tour with In Heart's Wake in support of that split collab EP. So that's going to be a nice, interesting thing that we've been trying to do for a while. But then the rest of the year is kind of like there's nothing booked. We're just
winging it.
We're taking a little bit of time for us. Writing. For us.
Writing. Yes.
Writing. And who knows? Like, we're going to try and come back to Europe and the UK before the end of the year is out. But that just all depends on how the music flows.
Yeah, you should totally come back and tour with Sick. That's mostly just for me to be able to watch that gig.
Can you look it up?
Probably.
Yes, I don't know. We'll see what happens. Like, if everything comes along quicker than expected, then with the 3 or 4 months off that we are planning on having, maybe like write, record, hopefully back to Europe for a tour or something like that. Who knows? We just got to kind of see how it is, because in the past we've booked tours and then gone, okay, here's a month, we need to write.
And it's not natural, then, is it?
It is, like, it still flows out naturally, but there's a lot of writing now that we do on the road.
Yeah.
So, which works in a favour, but then also works against us, because we can go and jam ideas at soundcheck, which is cool. But then sometimes you're sitting there in a bus with like 2 other bands, and you can't really like relax and
get into a...
So there's pros and cons to both. So I don't know. We'll see what happens.
Well, either way, look forward to catching up with you later in the year and finding out how things are going.
Sweet.
Cheers, buddy. Nice one.